Wanted to do a little demo introducing the first exercise and talking about our paper and our markers. So on the subject of our markers, you have something, if you bought the kit or are getting the kit, you're going to get something called a clear colorless blender, which could look like that, or it could look like that. These are simply markers with no blender. I mean, blenders or markers without pigment, I should say. So if I actually use this on the paper, this is a brush tip, by the way, which is okay for rendering. I kind of prefer the wedge tip, which like that, which you see right here. But that's fine. Either one will work. And then of course they have a fine tip as well. I lay down this blender, and you can see I have no tone as I do this. So basically, we use the blender usually to start very light areas. We also use it principally for blending between 10, 20, 30, and 40% tones. As you get into 30, 40, you're going to start shifting downshifting to 10 and 20 as your blender. Talk a little bit about that as we go. But basically, a lighter tone blending a darker tone is the way this works with markers. So markers are by nature both a wet and dry media. They're wet when they go down, but they dry in about a minute, which means they're reworkable. Unlike watercolor, where you can't really go back in without creating a mess. Those of you who worked in watercolor know exactly what I mean. Markers you can go back into. So I'm taking a 10, for example, and while that paper is still wet,